Hi, welcome to this video. Weeks ago I made a video where I showed you 3 of my favorite books, and that video was in Swedish, and now it's time for the follow-up video in English with 3 new books that also are kind of my favorites, and well, they are in English, so I'll do this video in English. Yes. Let's start with the first one. I will choose this one, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I might have talked about this book before on my channel, but that was a long time ago, so I'll do it again. This is a fantasy book in a fantasy world. It's about a young boy, a young man, and he goes to a kind of magic school, but it's not like magic, it's more like science magic. They have explained like most of the magic in this book really well through their kind of science, and that's really interesting to me. It also contains a lot of music and songs because the main character Quoth, he plays an instrument, and it's so well written. It's written in this kind of poetic language that works so well with the story. Great job. I will read from the back now. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping barrow kings. I burnt down the town of Treburn. I have spent the night with Florian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of me. So begins a tale unequaled in fantasy literature, the story of a hero told in his own voice. It is a tale of sorrow, a tale of survival, a tale of one man's search for meaning in his universe, and how that search and the indomitable will that drove it gave birth to a legend. The next book is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. It's also a TV series. The TV series is really amazing. I actually saw the series first before I read the book, and I was surprised when I read the book how alike they were. They were so alike, and that's so uncommon when you do like a movie adaptation or a TV adaptation of a book. You always change a lot of things, like Harry Potter movies, and I can go on and on that subject forever, but Outlander, they hadn't changed that much, and those things they had changed, I really could see why they had changed it to work better for the TV show, for the TV series. Like the changes they had made, I could understand them, and in like Harry Potter I can't understand half of the changes they have made. The story is about Claire Beecham, who has worked as a nurse in the First World War, and the war is over and she gets back home to her husband, and they have been apart for like the whole war, and they try to like reconnect to one another, and they go to Scotland to spend some time alone. But in Scotland, Claire happens to fall back through time. She arrives back in 1750 when Scotland and England is not bed buddies, and England has control over Scotland, but Scotland doesn't like it. It's a few years before the uprising. It's a love story, but it's also like a history story, but it also contains the best written villain I have ever met. The villain in this book is a English captain, like a higher ranked person who can do like whatever he wants. He's so scary. That man, Captain Randall, he is scarier than any villain I have ever read about. Put all those villains together and Captain Randall will still be scarier than all of them together. It's unexplainable. The year is 1945. Claire Randall, a former combat nurse, is back from the war and reunited with her husband on a second honeymoon when she walks through a standing stone in one of the ancient stone circles that dot the British Isles. Suddenly, she is Sassenach, an outlander, in Scotland, torn by war and raiding border clans in the year of our Lord 1743. Hurled back in time by forces you cannot understand, Claire is catapulted into the intrigues of lairds and spies that may threaten her life and shatter her heart. For here James Fraser, the gallant young Scots warrior, shows her love so absolute that Claire becomes a woman torn between fidelity and desire, and between two vastly different men in two irreconcilable lives. I love it, read it, watch the series, everything is good. The last book I will talk about today is this. It's Follow Giants by Ken Follett, and I know I have been talking about this before on my channel, but this is my favorite ever book. And for those of you who wonder why I haven't included Harry Potter in any of these videos, it's because Harry Potter is like a thing on its own. It's not just a favorite book, it's a lifestyle. So I won't mention Harry Potter here. I just like Harry Potter is so obvious that I don't even have to mention that's my favorite book. So yeah. Follow Giants is the best book I've ever read. It takes place in the time around the First World War. It's the first of 3 books, and the first book is around the First World War, the other book is around the Second World War, and the third book is about the Cold War. And it follows a couple of families around the globe. It's not like just in England or just in Germany. There are people in England, Germany, Russia and the United States. Some of the characters meet, some of the characters never meet, some of the characters meet but they don't realize it because perhaps they are fighting, and they impact each other's lives in very believable ways. It's really well written, and I love that you follow the same families throughout the 3 books, but like in the next book it's more about these characters, children and so on. I know it looks a bit intimidating, perhaps it's really long, but it's so good and it's so worth it, and I love this book with all of my heart, and now I will read from the backside, and perhaps you will be interested in reading it after I have done so. Let's hope so, because you need to read this because this is so great. Okay. 5 families are brought together through the world-shaking dramas of the First World War, the Russian Revolution and the struggle for votes for women. It is 1911 and the coronation day of King George V. 13-year-old Billy Williams begins his first day at work in a coal mine. The Williams family is connected by romance and enmity to the Fitzherberts, aristocratic coal mine owners. Lady Maud Fitzherbert falls in love with Walter von Ulrich, a spy at the German embassy in London. Their destiny is entangled with that of Gus DeVore, ambitious young aide to US President Woodrow Wilson. 2 orphaned Russian brothers soon become involved, but Gregory and Lev Peshkov's plan to emigrate to America falls foul of war, conscription and revolution. Fall of Giants combines richly developed historical detail with fast-moving action and powerful emotion to deliver this absorbing narrative. And this author also wrote Pillars of the Earth, that is a TV series, you might have heard of it, like Eddie Redmayne is in it, and it was one of his first bigger roles I think, and I saw him in it, and I knew him before he was cool. That was all the books I planned to show you guys in this video and in the last video. Don't forget to check that one out, it's in Swedish. 3 other books, I will link it down here, just watch it, okay? Good. I hope you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and to write a little comment down below, perhaps if you have read any of these books, or if you plan to do it, or if you have any book tips yourself. Just write something, and don't forget to subscribe to this beautiful face, and I'll see you soon again. Have a nice time. Bye!